The memory of a first bike is something that binds us together across cultures around the world. It's something most of us have in common. This is Nepal. We endowed an orphanage in Nepal, an all-girls orphanage. And I asked these girls to kind of, to tell me about what they thought this new bike would mean to them. And, we're working through a translator here again, and although a lot of girls actually did speak English, and the responses I thought were just amazing. This girl said, "The cycle will help keep Nepal beautiful." That's nice. This girl said, "I think a bike will help us fight global warming and help Kathmandu be a healthy city and make us healthy too." Isn't that amazing? These are not the children of diplomats. They're not going to, high-priced private schools or something. These are orphans. They live in an orphanage, and they get it. They see the power of small things, and they can see how a bike can impact their lives. And I also find it kind of interesting that an orphan in Nepal is concerned about climate change and global warming. We endowed an ashram in India. All of these girls have been rescued from sexual slavery. They'd undergone just years and years of horrible, horrible abuse, have been rescued by our partner NGO and brought to this ashram to rehabilitate. And I thought it was so touching. First of all, they painted this beautiful mural with some of our volunteers, which just explodes with color and beauty and hope. I loved it. And then they asked them, what do you think about a bike? And the girls said, "A bike helps us feel equal to men." After going through this horrendous experience, after dealing with the worst kind of abuse, they integrated back into society, and they felt that the bike gave them this sense of equality with men. Really touching. Ghana, we did a project on the shores of Lake Volta with a bunch of kids who were rescued from slavery in the fishing industry. These kids would dive to the bottom of the lake. They'd untangle nets. Drownings were frequent. Our partner NGO rescued these kids and brought them to this ashram, this orphanage, and we gave these kids bikes, and they live right at the edge of this beautiful wilderness, and so the kids now are able to cruise out across the wilderness and demonstrate what that study demonstrated, the idea that even if you've gone through this, something as bad as slavery, where you don't even have your freedom, once you're rehabilitated and you survive that, you get a bike, and it helps enhance that sense of freedom and control and gives you that great burst of happiness that can help heal you, just as those girls in India, for going through such a difficult transition. And finally, on the Navajo Nation, our most recent project, kind of near here in Montezuma Creek in the southeast corner of Utah, we built a sustainable mobile bike shop. In keeping with this great cycle of life, I guess, we took the hoods of reclaimed cars, and they formed the exterior cladding of the shop. We partnered with this amazing NGO, Design Build Bluff, that works down there in the desert southwest and builds sustainable housing for American Indian families. They built the shop with the help of us and our volunteers. Solar panels on the top provide all the juice. It's mobile. So when we were down there a month ago, we towed it out into the middle of the wilderness, of the desert there, took the kids on a bike ride, and were able to support that bike ride with this bike shop. 51 kids at the Whitehorse High School received bikes. We took them on the ride. They had a great time. These kids are really excited about these bikes, just like kids around the world, and suddenly it opens up their opportunities as well, because these kids, live isolated lives. They live, 10 miles, 15 miles out from the school. We had so many kids come up to us and say, now I can play with my friends. Now I can get to their houses. Now I can get to school. And now I can live healthy. I don't have to rely upon someone. I don't have to rely upon my parents to take me around or anyone else. I can do it myself. I have this control. I can be healthy. I can be happy. So we wanted to come up with a term that kind of summed up the sort of work we're doing at 88 Bikes. And the term we came up with is joy-based philanthropy. And this isn't, buying the world a Coke necessarily, I guess it could be. But rather, this is looking at happiness as a human need, as something on par with food, shelter, water. And in dealing with these kids, something that deserves that attention as a goal in and of itself. It's really our goal at 88 Bikes to make these kids happy, because we believe that nugget of happiness, even though those bikes don't last forever, but the happiness they have stays with them forever and helps encourage and impact their lives.